Hi, readers. Happy Thursday. It's Lauren. We are going to go ahead and get into chapter 3 of the Last Consort Adaptation. That's book 2 of the series. So let's go ahead and get started. I hope you're drinking something very fabulous today. I have a what am I drinking? I have a screwdriver that I have. So I hope that is, I hope I can read. No, but we hope that you're enjoying your time here, and thanks for being here. And stand by. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, chapter 3. Let's get started. Friday nights in the desert created an excited buzz. The skies even seemed like there was just a bit more starlight, a bit more sparkle for the violet and mahogany tint of the sky, its low belly impregnated with blinking spirits that leaned heavily into the sporadic serrano cactus sprouting from the reddened sands. William tugged on Jake's leash as they neared the edge of the sidewalk and jostled his pocket for his cell phone. He quickly looked to his right, feeling the sudden presence of sound from another person. His nerves were so far on edge they had nowhere else to go but make a suicidal plunge. Alan's blood remained on his shirt, carefully folded at the bottom of a trash can filled with pre-sorted recyclables to be dumped that Monday morning. Patricia had wrapped her arms around him that morning as she buttoned up the cuffs. You look exceptionally handsome when you dress up like that, Will. I admit I'm really tempted to make you late. Really. Really? He asked. Yes, really. She smiled without revealing any teeth, a smoldering wickedness plainly sexual all encapsulated in her gaze. What was he thinking? The house, the kids, the seven-seater SUV parked in the garage, and the dog carelessly sniffing the multicolored rocks spread out in the patch of ownership in front of a neighbor's home were all parts of the existence he was struggling so much to play a part in. He wanted to be William so much, but Eric wouldn't have almost been shot dead. She loved him. He saw it every night and every morning when the sun kissed her face, the light hitting at just the right angle, capturing her like a photograph for him to mentally carry throughout the day. Then he placed a call. Well, answered Hunter, his father. There was a distracting pulse from a hypnotic drum beat paired with an electric guitar screaming in the background. Were you a club? No, birthday party. I'm almost drunk. Just 3 more drinks and I'll be there. What you doing calling to mess up my fun, Will? I got a chick here, Sue or Susie. She's something. I'm going to have a very nice dad, please. No formalities here. Not playing responsibility with this conversation, especially right now. Perhaps one day he'd fully act to the title. He hadn't been too keen on committing. I have a problem. Alan Cox, you remember him? Yeah, the guy who was like one of those annoying puffy jackets, always lingered around Albert. Yeah, that's the guy. I had a bad encounter with him the other day. Now he's dead. Oh, I told you about that responsibility thing, Will. I don't think that news will sit well with Patricia. Do you need to come back to SoCal? I wouldn't do that, but I didn't kill him. I need to know the real reason behind why Alan was here in Arizona and who the guy was that shot him. Alan all of a sudden wanted to make a deal concerning Gwen. Sound in the background suddenly ceased. Then came a FaceTime request. Man, you let Alan do that to your eye? I didn't let him. No, you let him. What did I tell you when you said you were trying to make this family thing work when you moved? William recalled every word, every bit of a reflection shared as Hunter, his father, shared his advice leading into the wall of his old apartment, vicariously exploring his own remedy decisions through his words and scenarios. William hadn't wanted him to be right. A year later, news of Gwen showing symptoms and his old self Eric finding a need to gain consciousness again, he admitted Hunter was probably correct. You got a hell of a lot of shit surrounding you. Shit that doesn't disappear just because you do. I know, but I need to make this work. I have no other choice. Maybe I can give you some info tomorrow when I'm sober. A tall, narrow glass filled to the rim slowly appeared near Hunter's shoulder. A fair skinned, burnt haired woman leaned in and kissed his cheek. A kiss as if they'd known each other as long lost lovers. Susie, Susie, say hi to Will. William watched as the red haired woman leaned into the lens and pulled out a boozy induced, Hi, Will. Oh, man, what happened to your eye? He had a rough day yesterday, Hunter spoke. Listen, Will, I'll talk to you later. Be responsible. Pshaw. Hunter teased and ended the call. A few long blocks separated him from his family finishing up Thai food at the kitchen table. William kneeled, squeezing Jake by the scruff of his neck in a playful gesture, then rubbed behind his ear. Jake leaned forward and licked his cheek. I've got to make this work, Jake. Are you ready to go home? Jake yawned and pulled William back into the walk for the evening. Well, a voice fell from nowhere. Christine greeted Jake with a good rub. What are you doing this way? Just taking Jake for a walk. I didn't realize I'd gone that far. My apartment is right that way. She pointed over her shoulder. You're almost, what, a full mile away from the house? Poor Jake. He's fine. Are you? Pat told me about what happened. Of course you did. Christine ignored his remark and instead looked at him, a look like he was supposed to respond with further details. A mental sort of trick, he guessed. Where are you going? I obviously stopped you. I'm meeting Garrett at this new art gallery. You would probably appreciate it. I've seen some of your work. It's very nice, Will. Let me guess, Patricia? We've always been close. What do you expect? Plus, why would you hide a talent like that? He silently walked in the day's shadow with Christine, the electric hum of the street lamps buzzing in the scene with the hallowed clunk from the heel of her suede boots. Christine had followed her sister to Arizona, having ties to no one in Southern California. She loved the desert and quickly found companionship in Garrett LeBlanc, the guy who seemed to never have a bad day, always responding with a yes, sir, or no, ma'am, to anyone with an inkling of gray or white on their scalp. Will tried to accept Garrett, as Garrett called himself a good friend, but hated how Garrett always felt too friendly, and the friendship with Will was like a slowly simmering candied concoction. Getting too close would burn, and once things cooled, the results would shatter. Either way, it was all a big mess that, with his luck, would lead to a hole in his head. He would rather have avoided the whole thing altogether. So Garrett said you have no clue about what Gwen wants. I picked up a present from the both of us, but it's sentimental. Honestly, Chris, I'm still struggling here. A year ago, I knew nothing about her. Suddenly, I have a 12-year-old daughter. Yeah, Pat told me about that too. She looked at Will. Her feelings, Will, nothing about you. William nodded and paused as Jake slowed near a tree well. He could have been dead again. Another close encounter with the afterlife. He wouldn't be able to shake his dreadful feeling off before he returned home, before he had to tuck the kids in bed, lay next to Patricia, and hear about her day. All while he replayed the sound of a gun's firing and the distinct sound of Alan's head hitting the door jamb, the cool of another man's blood against his face. Why had he taken the walk? Hey, William, Garrett greeted as he and Christine neared a well-lit structure attached to the coffee shop. A light emanated from a warm glow from the showcase window into the street. I didn't expect to see you. And you've got my buddy, Jake. I ran into Will on my way over, explained Christine, wrapping herself in Garrett's embrace. You okay, man? Garrett asked. William locked eyes with him, finding something there outside of his usual jovial nature. Then he quickly averted his attention to Jake's leash. Long day. Well, you're sure that you're okay? Garrett insisted, a strong hand on his shoulder. I'm fine. I'm okay, thanks, he snapped. I'm sorry, Will. It's just that a person is not randomly attacked like you were, let alone be fine the next day. You've got folks who care about you. We want to make sure you're good. Was his uneasiness that obvious? Perhaps it was beyond his capacity. What if the gunman had shot him instead once the door had opened? What if it had been a setup and the guy had suddenly changed his mind? I just need some time. I'll be okay. All right, man. Let us know if you need anything. William used the next hour to get home, thinking of ways to make his remarks true, all in the busyness of the bustle of the Arizona night. Section break. The kids had settled on the couch with the glowing pulse from the television by the time he had returned with Jake. He slipped Jake's leash onto the hook on the wall and watched as he waddled into the room with his playtime crew, where he was greeted with the warm call of his name from the three. Without a word to anyone, William slipped into the garage, using the entrance from the front hall area of the house. The circumstances at hand were starting to build, and he needed to keep his promises. He stared in waited dread at the cabinet against the wall in the garage, staring before he finally unlocked the door, removing a case with a gun parked inside. It had been a blissful blink of existence not within his grasp. Alan Evans, fuck. Will, called Patricia from the door, you were gone for such a long time. What's wrong? Her presence in that brief moment of silence brought the realities of the current situation to mind and triggered questions he had ignored. The guy I ran into yesterday is dead. He was killed right in front of my face. Her silence remained for a lingering moment, like a heavy smoke in the room. I think the other guy was making a point. He knew who I was. He couldn't look at her. Hadn't been able to all evening. He couldn't watch her process what he had just admitted after holding on to the situation for the duration of the day. I figured something was going on. What did he want from the list? From the list? He asked, still staring at the wall, distancing himself. I don't know for sure. It's such a long list. One day, it would all surround him, no matter how much he tried to avoid matters. He couldn't help but realize that it would be the outcome he had to fight. He recalled when Patricia announced her enlistment without hesitation. It was her determination that kept him focused. They had both committed to battle, not knowing exactly where or how, just that they would both hold arms. Then he had conveniently tried to go AWOL without admitting much to anyone, especially Patricia. There was so much more she didn't know, things he had never said, only waiting for the right moment, hoping that it never came. Alan's death was just the beginning of the unraveling of the tightly knit work of the day-to-day lives of the happy couple, a stable unit they were still in the process of creating. He only hoped it wouldn't undo the whole thing. Alan mentioned Gwen. Someone keyed your father in on her. Oh, God. Yeah. I'm in the dark here without a flashlight. You're screwed in a few weeks. Alan hadn't been his idea of a partner in a time of potential crisis. He needed to find out what Alan had wanted in the first place and why he suddenly had changed his mind. End of chapter. Well, that's it for today. And thanks so much for being here. That was chapter 3 of the Last Consort Adaptation. That is book 2 of the series. It's again a romantic suspense series. If you again like a lot of suspense and drama, then this would be your series to read. Next week, we'll go ahead and go into chapter 4 and stay tuned. You can follow my Instagram page and see some little previews for that. We do hope that if you are reading the series, you are welcome to leave a comment or even a, if you like it or your thoughts, you're very welcome to leave that in the chat here. You can also leave information on my Instagram page, or you can always email me at my Lauren, it's Lauren Shull 350 at gmail.com. And also check back on my website, which is laurenschultzauthor.com. For this book, the second book, which we just read, it is available on the Free Minds Publication website. That's freemindspublications.com. I will go ahead and put that in the chat there for you too. And it's also available on Barnes and Noble and Kobo. For the first book in the series, that's available on Amazon and also directly on my website, laurenschultzauthor.com. So we're again hoping to see you again next week, or you can also stream this once this broadcast is done. And again, send your comments and like and subscribe. Thanks for being here. I hope you are enjoying your drink, whatever it was. I'm going to go ahead and get back to mine. And have a great evening. Have a great rest of your week. Have a happy Labor Day for those of you who are here in the United States. Happy Labor Day, and we'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.